Hi, I'm Hannah, this is Piles of Books, and today I'm going to be sharing my TBR for the June Historical Fiction Readathon. Okay, so this was something that I just kind of came across a couple of days ago from Shelly's channel. I will leave her channel in the description box so that you can find it. It was fun to kind of hear her backstory of why she chose to do this readathon in the month of June. And I am not going to pretend that I'm going to get to all of these books at all, but I miss reading historical fiction. I used to read a lot of historical fiction, and I've just kind of tapered off over the years. Every now and then I do throw one or two in, but this just felt like a really good opportunity to get a few more in. And also I have this challenge goal, I guess, made for myself to read like all of the middle grade books that we own, and I'm just not very good at reading them. So I set the bar a little bit higher for myself, and I chose mostly all middle grade or like classic YA books to fill the prompts for this readathon. So I'm going to share those books today. Like I said, I'm not going to pretend that I'm going to get to all of them, but I am going to leave this stack beside my chair so that I can hopefully get through a number of them in June. Okay, so the first prompt is read a work of historical fiction set in the country you're from, and I'm from the United States, so I chose The Quilt Walk by Sandra Dallas. I know nothing about this. I just saw it at the thrift store a couple of months ago and picked it up because I thought it looked good. This is, it says inspired by a true incident in Colorado history. So I don't know if that technically counts for historical fiction, but we're gonna count it. I don't, like I said, I don't know anything about this, but I think they start in Quincy, Illinois, and I assume that they go to Colorado, but I can't say for sure. So anyway, I'm going to try that one. The second one is set in a different country to the one you're from. And for this one, I chose Nori Ryan's Song. I have wanted to read this for quite a while, and I've just never gotten around to it. I'm looking forward to reading this one. It is about a girl and her family during the Irish potato famine in the 1800s, I believe, if I remember correctly. So I'm putting this down for that. Number 3 is set in a new to you historical time period. Okay, this is a little bit embarrassing considering that I am from the United States, but I have never really read much Civil War like history, whether it be true history or historical fiction. So I did not get around to Across 5 Aprils in the month of April. I believe that's when I had it on my TBR. So I am going to put this down for that. I hear that this is a hard book to read, but it is also fairly short. It's just under 200 pages, my copy is anyway. So I'm going to do that one. Okay, so the next one that I have is completely different from the rest of these. Number 4 is read a work of historical fiction with a speculative or magical realistic element. I scoured the internet for books I could possibly have. I scoured my shelves. I racked my brain. I did all the things, and I could not come up with anything. Speculative fiction and magical realism is like, it's not something that I read a lot of, I guess. So I didn't really have anything on my shelves for this, but I did come across the idea of reading Hamlet or Macbeth by Shakespeare. So I realized that these are not true historical fiction, but they're going to count for me unless one of you can recommend something in the comments below, either something that I could get, easily from the library, or I probably don't have it on my shelf, but if I can get it from the library, that would be great. Otherwise, I'm going to be going with one or both of those. I just finished the other day listening to Much Ado About Nothing, the BBC dramatized version of it. It was fantastic. So I have one more credit, and then I'm going to cancel my Audible membership, but I am going to get the collection of tragedies, and then I'll be able to listen to it that way. So anyway, that's number 4. I'm not completely settled on that, so definitely give me some ideas. Otherwise, I'll go with Shakespeare. The next one, number 5, is read a work of historical fiction from the perspective of an ordinary person. And for this, I chose When Hitler Stole Pink Rabbit by Judith Kerr. This is a book that I've just, like, I see on a lot of lists, and I have been very curious about it for a long time. I've never read it. So it seems like somebody read this recently. Chantel, possibly, and I can't remember whether she liked it or not, but I'm going to give it a go. This is probably one that I'm looking forward to the most just because it's been on my radar the longest. Okay, number 6 is read a work of historical fiction from the perspective of an extraordinary person. So this was, again, kind of a hard one. I have a bunch of like children's biographies, and I do have some like adult books that are written from the perspective of, you know, like a famous person or something, but I didn't have a lot like in the middle grade department. However, I did find The Hooded Hawk by Karen Harper. So again, this is one that I just grabbed on a whim from, it looks like from a library sale, and I don't really know anything about it. It says, Elizabeth and her court depart London for a summer progress replete with great manor houses, rural receptions, outdoor repasts, forbidden romance, and games and sport. By royal command, the young Francis Drake joins the entourage. A ship's captain in his pre-glory days, he is desperate for Her Majesty's approval, and she is disconcerted to discover that she desires his admiration as well. So again, this is just a book I've had on my shelf for a while, and I just want to be reading these books so that I can decide whether they are worth the very coveted shelf space or not. Number 7 is a historical mystery or romance. Okay, so first of all, this is a mystery. It says down here on the bottom, an Elizabeth I mystery. So I could do that one. Or I've also got Mara, Daughter of the Nile, which I think is a bit of both. Again, I see this on all the lists. I've never read it, and I bought it a while ago, so I definitely need to read it and decide. I have read a couple of other books, I believe, by Eloise Jarvis McGraw, the author of this book, and I liked them, so I expect to like this one, but we will see. All right, and the last one is a classic work of historical fiction. Okay, I could have chosen so many from my shelves, from our kids' library shelves. I just tried to quickly choose one and not spend all day thinking about it. So I chose Carry On, Mr. Bowditch. This is set during the Revolutionary War or pre-Revolutionary War, I believe. I don't actually know that much about it, even though I see it, again, on so many homeschool lists, and I have never heard anything negative about it. I have heard only good things. So I'm very excited to read this one. I think it's going to be really good. Okay, and that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here. Like I said, it is unrealistic for me to expect to read all of these, but I am going to just leave them out and try to get through as many as I can in the month of June. Thank you to Shelly for putting this readathon on. Like I said, please check out her video about it. She has some really great recommendations, so I may have to check out a few of those from the library and stick them on my stack as well, but this is what I am going to prioritize getting through. Again, thank you for being here, and we will see you in the next video.